He doesn't know me very well. Again, my name is Jessica Bartholow, and I'm with the Western Center on Law and Poverty. I am a legislative advocate here in Sacramento, and I also work on national anti-poverty policies. When Brother Carter came to me and said, hey, we're going to do this thing, it's going to be on our state's birthday, September 9th, in Sacramento, I was so excited. I said, yes, September 9th. It's our birthday, and it's also the first day back to Congress. Our legislators from California started back work today after their August recess. First on the agenda, in the House of Representatives, a proposal to cut $40 billion in food stamps to the poorest Americans, to out-of-work Americans, to children who are hungry. This following a report released just last week that hunger in America is up, that there are more hungry kids in 2011 than there were in 2010. This without a plan to address childhood poverty or hunger. This without a single hearing on childhood hunger in our Congress. The proposal to cut $40 billion in food stamps. I said, yes, Brother Carter, we need to be there. We need to be on the steps of our state capitol to send the message to Congress that this is not okay on their first day back. And I'm happy to report that every single member of the Democratic Caucus of California signed a letter saying that they would support increasing and strengthening our nation's most important food program, and that they would defend against cuts to the program. But we need to be here on the steps of our Capitol to remind them that they said this and that they signed this, and remind them when the vote comes that they better vote this way too. But I was excited not only because I thought it was an important day to send a message to Congress as they return back on their first day, but because I thought that we'd be in a place where we could also tell the rest of the state that California, on our birthday, was leading the way for economic and social justice. That we're leading the way in turning back the wars against people who are poor and the wars against people who are addicted to drugs. Some people call that the war on drugs. It was the war on people, right? In the name of drugs. I thought that we'd be in that place today. Today is not only the first day back of Congress, but it's also the first day of the last week of our legislative session here in California. And I thought we'd have some bills on the floor that would send a message to the entire state and the entire country that we are turning a corner. And I'm sorry to report, I don't think that's true. One of the bills I was excited to tell you about today that I thought we'd be sharing the good news about was a bill that would end the ban on basic needs assistance for infants born to poor parents when their parents weren't using the proper kind of contraception. The contraception being sterilization or an intrauterine device. That's right, in the state of California, if you are poor and you get pregnant while you're poor, your child's denied aid for the rest of their life unless you were sterilized and the baby was an accident, or using an IUD and it didn't work. There is an exception for rape victims. If you report the rape within 12 months of the rape and you're willing to show the police report to your caseworker so she can put it on file for the remainder of the child's life that they were a product of rape, an unwanted child, then your baby can get $122 a month so you can afford diapers and bottles so you can go back to work as required by state law. I was excited to tell you about this bill. The California Democratic Party supported the bill. It's a bill that repeals a model policy that ALEC, a national conservative think tank, is promoting in other states. They took California's policy, our policy on the books, to Pennsylvania, and they tried to get it there. And guess what? The 7 Republican lawmakers in Pennsylvania who introduced the bill in 3 weeks repealed their proposition because they said it was invasive to the reproductive privacy of poor women. In California, our state Democrats said the same thing. We don't like this policy. This is an awful policy the state of California has, and we're going to let it stand for another year. They held the bill last week. So instead of being here today to say, happy birthday, California, we're leading the way and we'll tell the country how we will turn back the tide from the war on women in the 90s, I'm sorry, we can't say that. Another bill I was excited to tell you about this year. As people know, in 1990s we had the war on drugs, the so-called war on drugs, which targeted poor neighborhoods, poured a lot of money into dense urban districts where people of color lived and called it the war on drugs. And what we did was we locked up a lot of people, and we put them in prison for minor offenses, and we changed the sentencing requirements. And when people talk about single mothers and how shameful it is that they're a mother and they're single and they don't have a father, we should be supporting policies that keep families together. Then why are we sending our men to prison? Yeah. That's what we did in the war on drugs. I was excited to tell you that we were starting to turn the tide on that. We had a bill that would have ended the lifetime ban on basic needs assistance for people who had been convicted of a drug felony. If they were complying with their probation or parole, if they had graduated from probation or parole, if they'd done the time that the judge had asked them to do, a judge appointed by our government had said they were to do a certain amount of time at probation and parole, and once they finished all that they shouldn't be denied basic needs assistance or child care for their kids if they were poor enough and needed it and wanted to work. That bill got held in committee. We won't take it on the floor. It won't be heard in the floor, and we won't be turning the tide on the war on drugs and the war on people.
That's right.
Not this year. Not this year. So it's with a heavy heart because I thought I'd be here with a different message for California, for our nation, and I'm not. I'm here to say that I really appreciated Brother Carter's words. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them because I'm going to have to remember them, and we all are. He said, with the blind faith in progress. Okay, blind faith in progress. I take that to mean that we have to believe in progress even when we see nothing around us that suggests that it's going to happen.
That's right. That's right.
All right? And I'll say one more thing. Today the rally on California's birthday is for economic and social justice. And I want to add one more. It's something I've been trying to study myself and to believe in, and that's restorative justice, right? I think Californians, we don't just need economic and social justice. We need to believe that people in here believe in us again.
That's right.
And the only way, I'm going to say this, the only way we can make sure that they believe in us is we have to believe in them. We have to have blind faith in progress and tell them that we believe in them. They held the bills and we could be mad. They stopped our progress and we could be angry. But instead we need to choose to tell them that we believe that they will do the right thing. And not just say it, but to believe it ourselves. So the thing about restorative justice, right, is that you have to come to a place where people can be forgiven and can forgive. And so I don't believe that our leaders can actually believe in us again until we believe in them again. And if we can't get leaders we believe in, then we'll have to find some.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I want to say to Brother Carter, I've read your poem. So much better to hear it. It's so much better to hear it from your voice. I appreciate that.